Salut, everybody. Welcome back to the United Rogue stream. After our short little break in that instant classic of a series, we've got ourselves two more teams that are hungry to make just about the same impression, except maybe not make the series as close because both of these teams definitely want themselves an easy coast of these match. Both of them won their week one match, and now they're here to show their talents off for us, Rain.
Especially since we have a Pacific Rim style showdown between the 1-0 Baltimore Kraken and the 1-0 San Francisco Cyborgs. Two titans in this league duking it out for dominance. Who do you think's gonna who do you like in this? Who do you think has the edge given the cap hit space that we're seeing spread out amongst them?
Well, not to avoid the cap part, but I do think I have to give the advantage to the Cyborgs because you brought up the fact that it's a Pacific Rim-esque. I do think that Krakens are at a significant disadvantage out of the water, and I think that robots are at a significant advantage outside of water. So I do have to give it to them, considering that we're playing on grass. But you never know. You could be surprised in this league. Crazy things can happen, like that game 3 minute and a half where we didn't find a goal, or we ended up talking about gummy worms earlier. So anything can happen on these United Rogue streams.
A lot of water in those Baltimore channels for the Kraken to swim through, I suppose, as we take the field for this week 2 matchup between the Titans.
And here we go as Father Time coming up against Frosty Brew here for our kickoff. And Far with a beautiful foam hat, might I add. There are some things going around about hats and what's your lucky one, but it's going to work out for them as they got an early goal because of Hollywood.
Foam hat, gotta keep it, but just Hollywood scoring early. You see two Baltimore defenders overshoot their targets, and both almost simultaneously turn heel as they realize they have messed up.
And now they're going to have to play from behind, though Baltimore gonna have to get over their disadvantage of not being in the water here because they won't be finding some anytime soon unless they lose in 3 games flat, though they definitely don't want that. As Hollywood here touches it forward, following with plenty of boost, and they'll get it off the curved part of the ceiling, sits in the box, and the loose ball Far can't punish. And this will be cleared as sitting around in the Baltimore zone. No one too interested in getting it, but Father Time throws it forward. All 3 players on that side of the pitch, though nobody is going to get the big clear. This will be sent out, and finally Baltimore get it out of their zone. San Francisco suffocating them early.
We're seeing a lot of speed from San Francisco early, but Baltimore is seemingly able to avoid that triple anti-commit in their own defensive zone, is able to clear it past 2 San Francisco defenders waiting in the wings for the equalizer.
And it sure didn't take them long once they escaped their zone to get that ball in center, quickly up the corner, and that found its way through the defense. And now Baltimore have leveled things off, and suddenly the game back within reach, even though it wasn't too far out to begin with, but we're back all even, so anything can happen for them as Chaser nearly throws an incredible shot on target, just a little bit too high. But in the center, Frosty with a big critical miss, and Chaser will get back in time to get that one out. This ball will sit in the corner, and Fat putts up the wall, though Hollywood takes over. It's the wrong side of the field, unfortunately, and now Baltimore had some help, but both these teams kind of stagnating right now in offense, and unless Father Time will just go ahead and do that.
We're seeing from Baltimore a dangerous combination of both a lack of speed and kind of a mushmouth approach to their defensive rotation. Here we see San Antonio step up with Father Time and absolutely bring it to the house and punish them for their second goal.
And now Hollywood up the wall looking to shoot this on, and 2 players come together for that save, but that means there's nobody down on the ground right now to play goalie, and they put together a passing play and they missed the frame, and that is a big error for San Francisco there. They could have had themselves a goal. Father Time tries to shoot as well, but there are points left on the board with that chance that San Francisco just aren't going to be able to get back.
Hollywood trying some fancy moves here in the corners. We see a Tokyo Drift style kind of boost-starved drift in the corner of the Baltimore Kraken. Sadly enough, is not able to capitalize.
Now in center, Fat Putt throws it center. It's a pass to Hollywood as it turns out, and they shoot, but it's off target. And now Baltimore with a poor clear, and once again, Fat Putts there has to come back to get that one out. And again, a loose ball, and Baltimore leaving the ball to sit in their own box. And I mean, they've got to be panicking right now, especially with how many times San Francisco, excuse me, has been a touch away.
We're seeing them pick apart this defensive rotation, only marred by the fact that they're missing most of their shots, as just Hollywood is able to clang it off the ground and get it barred down skis, as this game might be going away from Baltimore early.
I gotta respect the bar down skis. They finally convert, and they've got themselves one just under the bar with the help of Fat Putz, who tried to make the save, but unfortunately the goal isn't small enough for their liking. And now they're down 2 with half the game left. Frosty Brew going to touch this to the middle. Hollywood misses out, and suddenly it's a chance, but Baltimore not aggressive enough to get to that in time. San Francisco gets themselves a clear. Now sitting around in middle, Frosty Brew touches it awkwardly far with a 50, and that will sit around. Hollywood over top of one, but they miss out. And Baltimore have themselves a second to breathe, but their offense, they need to be more aggressive.
We're seeing a real dominance of performance in San Francisco in the speed category. Baltimore almost looking like they're in slow motion in comparison to these cyborgs from San Francisco.
Now, in the midfield, those pesky robots are really taking control of the match. They're computing the angles, and Father Time there with a 50 far, lining it up, and unfortunately, no amount of robotic parts will get yourself more power on the ball when you touch it like that, but Baltimore going to try to get it out. Father Time with a great 50 there. This will find its way in center. Far will shoot, and through all the crowd, Far finds themselves an opening.
We're seeing another case of just that pure aggressiveness from San Francisco, as they're able to just completely dismantle any clear chance that Baltimore is trying to perform.
And now up by 3. This is a huge lead for San Francisco. And, you know, the advantage of not being in water is starting to show. No circuits are fried, and no Kraken are being hydrated. So they are really running away with things here, as sitting in center, Fat Putz taking over with a bit of a dribble. Father Time with a 50 that'll send it off target and get rid of the possession. Chaser beat out. Frosty Brew keeps it alive on offense, but they're going to need to score here and now to give themselves any hope of 2 more in regulation. As Hollywood is up for this one, they'll send it out and chew even more of the clock, which at this point it becomes more and more of a monumental task for Baltimore to come back.
Ooh, as we almost see Frosty Brew trying to get something going, and another shot finally from Baltimore as they're mounting. What we're seeing in a lack of speed and defensive rotation, we are seeing a good amount of passing when the opportunity arises.
Now Hollywood taking over and gets it up to 1. This will sit around, and at this point you can notice it in the way that San Francisco is playing. They begin to lose their desire to be quick to the ball. No one's really going for boost anymore. They know this game 1 is over and in the books, as the clock officially makes it happen. San Francisco dominate in game 1, and unless Aquadome suddenly appears, it looks like it might be the same way.
No, we've got a classic case of Gypsy Danger socking it to the house of the Kaiju early on. And as we were talking about just a moment ago, Baltimore almost looking like they're in slow motion from this absolute onslaught of aggressive speed, fire, and fury from San Francisco. If they're going to want to maintain any semblance of an offensive pressure and avoid the sweep, much like Carolina, they're going to have to change their strategy and change it in a hurry.
Yeah, unfortunately for Baltimore, the series looked a lot closer than it did right now when Carolina had to turn things around. So they're going to have to make a very dramatic change, unlike Carolina, who just had a couple small errors they had to fix. The big glaring problems for me is that they just couldn't get out of their own zone for most of the time, was Baltimore. And when they did, they just weren't doing enough to break through. I do need to see a lot more from them. For San Francisco, I want to see the same exact thing. They have nothing they need to change right now. They were playing incredible. But we will see if either team is going to do that. Here is Fat Putz here, touching it center for Frosty Brew, who will get the first goal. They open things up, and it's looking great for them already.
Frosty Brew with his first goal, not only of the game, not only of the series, but of the season. Fantastic pass from Fat Putz coming in high. San Francisco opting not to go up the wall to make that challenge happen.
And now we see the ball come to Far off the kickoff, who shoots, and this won't be on target, but Fat Putz in the corner, and a touch there from Far that was absolutely unbelievable, and Father Time was not ready, as reasonably not so. That was awesome and came from pretty much out of nowhere. But off the wall here, Frosty takes over with the dribble, looks to turn up the wall, and they will. Has room to go off the ceiling if they want, but they touch it center, and wasn't too threatening, but Far had to make a save nonetheless. Fat puts forward, Hollywood to beat, and this will fall in center, but Father Time is back in time. Now, Father Time sends it over to Far, a big clear. Fat Putz reads it, but the 50, and actually they win out. This will sit midfield. I'm very impressed with how Baltimore have turned things around.
We saw a lot of chippy plays and physicality from Baltimore early in that game one. We haven't seen that from them since, and now we see Hollywood almost slamming it down. There was nobody in net for the Baltimore.
And they got away with one there by the skin of their teeth. Father Time with the doink there. Hollywood is up, has boost to Reed. Look out! Chaser will close that off. Father Time is beat there. It's a 2-on-1. And now Frosty, off the miss by Chaser, is going to opt to go up the wall. Option to move up the ceiling, but they shoot it straight down. And Father Time will make the clear. Chaser's on top of things, though. Hollywood can't put a stop to them. Chaser with a flip, and they will miscalculate. And that one will be cleared, no problem, though. Frosty keeps it alive. Hollywood sends it over to Far. Look for the pass, and they shoot, and Fat Putz makes that save, and it's not enough. Fat Putz makes an inhuman effort on that one.
This is just absolute larceny. Fat Putz coming in out of nowhere to take away that shot. Unfortunately for him, his two other teammates were not on the same page and did not come back to transition in defense. Fat Putz doing everything he can, but it's not enough for one man alone.
Closing off the angles at an incredible rate. This man's car bigger than the goal, but unfortunately, that's still not big enough to stop the ball from getting through, as Hollywood here sends it forward. Fat Putz on top of Chaser, and they'll end up pinching this one out. Father Time with a miss, and that was read by Chaser the whole way, and now coming center. Far will get it back in the corner. Fat Putz again off the back wall. Hollywood with a big clear, and that might be the end of that, as Far gets a doink. Father Time is there, and they nearly put together another passing play, this time Far being the one putting things together.
It looks pretty, but Father Time was not in time, as he can't get up and catch up with that ball. Great shot opportunity from a good passing play from the Cyborg here to try to go ahead.
Chaser in their own corner has to 50 Hollywood, and they will pretty much lose possession there as Father Time off of Frosty Brew. Fat Putz the last back. That 50, not enough. There's a chance for the shot, but nobody's forward. Baltimore end up getting away with that one without much contention. And now a chance there. It's shot suddenly. Baltimore, quick turnover. All they need is one touch.
Frosty Brew with a second, and sometimes if you can't maintain and make your own offensive chances, you make a little luck. Frosty Brew, he puts himself in a good position where opportunity meets preparation, and that lucky positioning gives him the goal.
The one-timer sneaks through everybody, and San Francisco can only watch. Father Time touches this one forward. Chaser into the corner. Fat Putz takes over, leaves it for Frosty, and the 50, look out, Far got there quickly, and now the ball will sit, but Chaser has a clear. Father Time forward, and they send it up, but looks like Baltimore are going to have to continue to play their defense. Father Time was there, but didn't seem to be quick enough to get to that shot, and now I think San Francisco are going to have to kiss this attack goodbye.
Absolutely, and we see a little bit of a regression in the aggressiveness from Baltimore that we were seeing just a moment ago. They were able to kind of meet head-on with what the Cyborg was giving to them. Not so anymore.
Now Hollywood off the ceiling. Glad for the ceiling shot, as they really got up there with confidence. Father Time sends it off the backboard. Hollywood looking for a read, and Far is still up. All three players for San Francisco forward. Cyborg seeing good probabilities of success on this one, but looks like Baltimore are holding up very well to them right now, and now they've definitely rotated back to defense.
Despite an overall almost neglect of defensive rotation for Baltimore as a team. We saw a lot of great plays from Fat Putz just a moment ago. You could really sense that he had a good sense of where his teammates were and where the ball had chances of going, and he put himself in those positions time after time.
And now Frosty Brew leaves it up on the back wall. Father Time is there, has boost to foul. They miss out. And now the shot there, 30 seconds to go. San Francisco need to stop Baltimore here, and they need to turn it into a chance on offense. As Father Time wins that 50, Chaser is back. They send it. This will fall back center. One to beat, though. Fat Putz will buy out some more time for their team here in the final 10, and Father Time has to wait it out in the corner for a good read. Look out! Someone was quick to the draw. Fat Putz, Frosty Brew is up. They miss as well, and suddenly San Francisco are panicking. What went wrong here? And that'll be the end of that game. Baltimore really made that one a panic quickly.
It sure did. It ended up not mattering for San Francisco in the end, but shot after shot to a panicked San Francisco line was able to keep the pressure up just long enough to outwait the clock. Seemingly, Father Time himself does not have enough time on the clock to come back in this game.
Yeah, really, those final 10 seconds. I was excited to see what San Francisco had to make happen, but Fat Putz was very, very quick and aggressive on that one, and it pretty much eliminated the rest of those 10 seconds because everyone freaked out for San Francisco, and Baltimore pounced. They knew they had them dead to rights there, and we are tied up coming into Game 3. This one could be a bit of a classic as it turns out.
It'll be interesting to see how each team reacts to their difference in strategy as we take it to the field for Game 3.
And here we go as the clock hits 0. Nobody on match point yet. Both of these teams definitely not going to be taking it easy, though. Nobody can be complacent with this tie series as Frosty Brew sends it forward. Fat Putz leaves it up the wall. Just Hollywood with a 50. Father Time looking to shoot, though there's not much power to it. Chaser's the last back and far with the quick turnover. Almost a little distracted because I saw their nose and it looked a little blue to me, but that certainly is a cyborg.
Bit of a miscue from Chaser, kind of a panic. He's trying to make that clear because he sees the offensive in tight with Father Time and Just Hollywood breathing down his neck. Unfortunately, sets it up right for the cyborg and far.
Sure was there to pounce on that one with their big cowboy hat, which I've heard is good luck from many, many sources, but I've yet to get myself one lately. I keep trading them in when I get them, but Hollywood here on the counter looking for a mean flick, but they don't get much to it. Frosty Brew with the clear. Father Time forward, and this one's not too threatening either. It'll be cleared out, no problem by Baltimore. Hollywood touches it through, and they get it through everybody. Silky smooth there as they don't have to put any juke on.
You rarely see that in such a competitive league as the Macaroni League, but Just Hollywood with an absolute mind meld of a deke. Just absolute insanity with the patience for that quick 2-0 lead, and we're only 50 seconds in.
No, that definitely wasn't a juke. I have that all the time too. When you're one-on-one and then you start lagging really, really badly and they end up faking you or juking. It happens to me every single time in ones. I know it all too well. Definitely can't blame that on him. It's definitely a bug in the game. That's what I tell my teammates.
Psionics, please.
As the ball will sit center here, Fat Putz off the wall. Father Time leaves it up the wing. Chaser going to send it back in, and Far will touch this down. It's sitting around that mid boost. It's been here for a while, though. This one could hit the ceiling and go in. Unfortunately, no shooters bounce. As now San Francisco climbing up, and awkward pinch. We'll see it to Far, who touches it forward. Father Time forward, up in the air, looking to shoot, and this will go off the corner. Back to Far again, who fires! Far and Father Time go back and forth, and this play is slow, but it's calculated.
It's slow, but if you can play keep away in the air from your boost-starved opponent, you'll find yourself in that position. We see an excellent time of juggling that in the air and the absolute clangor. They're up 3-0.
And they are confident. It's pretty much what we saw in Game 1 happening all over again for San Francisco. Frosty Brew trying to change things. Fat Putz can't find the angle, and it might have been a pass, but Chaser definitely was not ready. far, sends it over to Father Time. They take over on offense. Fat Putz leaves it center for Frosty, and they don't have much of a shot either. Baltimore just not getting much going their way right now. As I say it, Fat Putz finds an opening.
They're finally able to stop the bleeding as now that second shot in the first minute and a half. We saw 7 shots from the Cyborg. Excellent pass and excellent opportunity in the waiting for Fat Putz.
And now we see our fourth kickoff, or our fifth, excuse me, of the game coming up as far. Waiting out Chaser's touch. Could have been a crazy dunk if it came together. Father Time off the back wall. This will come to Hollywood, who shoots and can't find the angle. Father Time also 50s but can't get it through. And Baltimore going to escape again. They could have had their 3-goal lead right back there.
We already have a 9-2 differential in the shot total, and we're seeing that reflected in the goal total as well, as San Francisco is able to keep peppering that goal. Baltimore is going to have to come up with a strategy to make those clears.
Now Chaser up into the corner. This will see its way through, but they will get that clear, no problem. Plenty of time left for Baltimore to start patching out the errors, but they keep giving them up right now, and it could be even more improbable that they turn this around. If there was another big chance for San Francisco, though, that clear from Chaser will give them breathing room. I can't exactly pinpoint what the problem is myself, but Baltimore need to do something else to start finishing things here.
Part of it is that aggressiveness that we saw kind of peeking its head through and shining in moments. They're gonna have to stay consistent and keep it up, as Chaser almost finds himself in no man's land on a 1v1 in his own zone.
Now that clear, and Baltimore gets the shot, and they will be within 1 as Fat Putz will finish off there for their second of the game.
Frosty Brew with an absolute clanger from downtown. Fat Putz is kind of reading him, cheating up, cherry picking, if you will, and is able to catch that on his hood in stride before San Francisco could mount a defensive rotation and a stop.
That is a good counterattack in the right position for the pass, and now Baltimore are back in this. They just have to play solid on defense and sneak through on offense, and they are right back in this thing. All level, but far one-on-one with Fat Putz, who makes the save. They've been very strong on defense. You can't bet on beating them out. They've got no saves this game, but you sure know they've been making things happen, though, in midfield here. Chaser asked to make things happen for offense. They'll send it center. Hollywood takes over, and all 3 San Francisco players ahead of Baltimore to the ball, but they miss out their chance. Still not clear. Father Time shoots far side and gets it in. And now it's even more of a task for Baltimore.
They're able to keep it in the zone still with a goal and not having to leave a 3-on-0 empty net goal wasted. Father Time is able to loft it just out of reach of any Baltimore defender.
Now with our 7th kickoff, we see just Hollywood forward, though it's saved by Chaser. Back over to Chaser, who has the chance to shoot, but they can't get a good angle on it. That could have been Baltimore bringing things back within 1, but they'll have to do more than just that, as this is cleared. Fat Putz can't get it. Frosty Brew just spawned, but they're going to have to take control already. Father Time touching this back in. Chaser, unfortunate touch, and this could be a chance for San Francisco again. They still have it in the box, though. Baltimore are going to get the clear now. But San Francisco really not letting them have any space.
It's a dangerous touch for Baltimore as we see Chaser pop it up. Kraken, they have a player coming in Fat Putz across to make that clear. That's part of that communication that you have to keep up and understand who has the best shot on the ball at any given moment.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that will be it for this game. San Francisco are going to take over and go on match point here in Game 4, whenever that comes up, which I'm sure will be only in a few moments, though. The scoreline really tilted to one side.
Absolutely. We see the shot differential, 11 shots for San Francisco, met by only 4 shots, all of which coming from Fat Putz. We really saw him all around the field in this game, both in offensive opportunities with his 2 goals leading the charge for Baltimore, but also in his defensive rotation and smart play recognition, knowing where he needs to be and where San Francisco is taking that. Unfortunately, he's got to spread that wisdom to his team.
Yeah, and I think really the key for Baltimore right now is going to be how Fat Putz plays, because they have been the star player for this squad. And I think San Francisco's offense is also a big key to this game because when San Francisco has been confident on offense, they have been dominating, as we saw in game one and we saw here in game three. If we see that offense confident again, it might already be over before our kickoff has even began for Baltimore, but they definitely have what it takes to close things down. And that's what I'm interested in seeing here. I mean, San Francisco, they're red hot right now, but the ball is in Baltimore's court to get things done. So we'll see if they can find themselves success here.
We saw it earlier from Baltimore as an absolute onslaught in game one from San Francisco led to a comeback in game two. Can they repeat this seesaw of a game flow?
Sitting in the box, Fat Putt's going to send it out to Chaser, who looks to shoot. Not much to it, though. That's a blunder there as they have a terrible contact with the ball. Hollywood forward and far demo. Baltimore could have turned that into a quick counter, but it ends up being a bit of a smoke screen. Fat Putt's on a dribble, has Chaser center, but they can't get a flick either. And San Francisco here turning it the other way to Father Time, who puts it center. It's on target, goes over the bar. Hollywood turns, shoots it again. Will they save it? Chaser gets there, ends up getting the credit, though there were two there. San Francisco testing Baltimore already. Look out for this one as Hollywood can't sneak it under.
We're seeing a little bit of that Carolina Reaper tendency to just hit the shot as we see another one from Baltimore coming in quick. That entire San Francisco offensive rotation was caused by a mistouch from far that was smartly handled by an improvising Hollywood.
And now Frosty looking to create an attack in the San Francisco zone, but Baltimore going to leave empty-handed. Chaser turns back in. Plenty of boost. They fake that they have none, and a big center here. Fat Putt's kicked it on target. Game of inches comes back to formulate as that one was very, very close to not hitting the post.
We saw a lot of patience from Chaser right there on the wall, smartly choosing to stay on it as he saw that no San Francisco player was coming to meet his challenge. Instead, waiting, lining up his opportunity to take the boost and the shot at the same time. Tuffy didn't come away with the goal.
And unfortunately, both teams are going to have to do a little bit more than what they're already doing to break this deadlock, it seems, because they are tight in this thing. As in the corner, Father Time had a chance, and they will miss out on contact big. And now San Francisco has a big chance. Hollywood 1-on-1 with Frosty, and they kill out their bounce. That could have been a powerful shot to beat out Frosty with low boost, but again, San Francisco with one error, that is the difference between a goal and a save.
Hollywood seemingly trying to make another fool of the Kraken with a little bit of a mind game. Unfortunately for him, the Kraken, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. They did not bite, and he quickly found himself in no man's land and could not make a comeback.
And now Far looking for Hollywood in center. They're making a play happen, though. They missed out. Fat Putt shoots, and Father Time was tested, but it wasn't on target to begin with. Now in center, both players missing out. Hollywood takes over, dribbling forward. Leaves it for Far, very gentle with it. It's over top of one. This is going to bounce in center, and Far will finish on the solo mission. Hollywood feeds it, and Far just does it all themselves.
It's almost tougher when your opponent misses. He takes two defenders out of the equation by lobbing it into the high corner. To them, it looks like they're going in, and they have to desperately make that attempt, but it takes both of them out of position. An easy mop-up for San Francisco. And it's our first goal of the game, and we're more than halfway through.
Baltimore definitely have time to score here, considering how close they've been many times, especially that one chance where they just barely hit the post when they were inches away from scoring. So definitely not out of this. They have the opportunities and they have the ability to score here and tie things up. Though Far going to make it a bigger gap than before, trying anyway, as that one is saved by Chaser. Fat Putts in the corner, looking to dribble, they miss. Hollywood faked out, backflips it to someone else, but nobody's really there, and they make it even more awkward for Far, and now that's that possession.
We're not seeing the same amount of support in teammates halfway through this game, even as we saw at the first half of this game. I mean, teammates have been really on the spot and there for those assists, but we're seeing a breakdown in that as we almost see the comeback equalizer for the Kraken.
That was unfortunate because they were close, and even that second effort, they just missed out on power there, and they're going to be looking back on that one if they lose by one. But here's another chance, and oh no! How does that one get that high from that close? Baltimore sky it, an absolute sitter, but Chaser will burn a shot, and a defensive error rather than an offensive maneuver will beat out the Cyborgs.
Tough double commit in close. Not only a double commit, but a double bump in air, sending 2 defenders to the corners. Chaser's able to lob it up, and they're able to mount a stop attempt, but the momentum carrying them into the goal is not enough to change that angle.
And now sitting center, Fat Putz clears it over. Hollywood takes over, plenty of boost, and they try to 50 the 2 remaining defenders. So that will work out for Baltimore, but for how long? Because they are still on offense. Hollywood and Father discuss who takes it, and Hollywood ends up with it. Leaves it behind. They will send it in forward. Father Time taking over. Fat Putz steals it, and this turnover could be the undoing. It's a big miss. Fat Putz shoots, and they can't get the target. They have been ice cold on offense in this game, and that one will shoot them in the foot. They could have gotten the win right there.
If you're wanting to force that game 5, you cannot leave those opportunities on the field when you have your opponent in complete disarray.
That's not the first time we've seen that from Baltimore this game either. As the clock expires, San Francisco can't keep it alive. We will come down to overtime here. Baltimore have left a lot of points on the board, and that's not to say San Francisco has either, but it's definitely more glaring for Baltimore because they're the team that can't give up this match. And
see it coming
unfortunately, I guess I've written it, haven't I? There goes San Francisco. Father Time wins a 50 and just walks it home. And that's it for our series.
Father Time making sure Baltimore runs out of theirs. We really saw a lot of promise from the Kraken to force our second Game 5 scenario of this back half of Week 2. Unfortunately, not to be, as Baltimore could not maintain that pressure and really take advantage of the opportunities that were given to them.
In the battle of 2 teams that won their Week 1 match, San Francisco took it with stride, and they really ran away with this one. I mean, the scoreline is 3-1 when you look at the actual series score, but I think that San Francisco was easily the stronger team, especially with that glaring Game 1, Game 3 win. I think Baltimore, just their offense is what really shot them in the foot on this one.
It'll be interesting to see where San Francisco can go in this league. Just from those 3 players we saw, 2 of them not even playing last week. Both Just Hollywood and Far, both new to the scene for the San Francisco Cyborgs. We might be looking at an early favorite to lead the league.
Yeah, they definitely took control, and they didn't give any room. And it's no wonder that they appeared on the power rankings, because they are legit, as we just saw. And they proved to us and the rest of chat here that they definitely have what it takes to run the course, and they have depth too. They've won with every single player in their squad so far. And I mean, of course, that doesn't speak for every single pairing, but they are looking good. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them up high in the power rankings when these next ones come out.
Absolutely. It's been fun casting you with Deli. We've seen a lot of good matches tonight.
Yeah, we have plenty of gummy worm talk to have after the stream. I'm not done with that. But it's been really fun tonight, and I do believe we have streams all week. I'm going to be here a lot this week, actually. I'll tell you what. Kendo was very kind to me this week. He gave me 3 back halves, so I won't be seeing you tomorrow, but I will be seeing you Sunday, I believe.
I will be out for Sunday, but I'll be watching in earnest.
It sure will be fun, though, this weekend. There's a lot of great matches coming up this weekend, though. Unfortunately, we don't have any more tonight. So, chat, thank you for sticking around. But unfortunately, that's it for us. Rain has some trombone to play, and I have, I don't know, I have meat to sell. So, we've all got day jobs. We're going to be catching you on another stream. Thank you all for hanging out. That's been us tonight at United Rogue. Please drop a follow, whatever you want to do. We'll see you on another night.